another matchup here. Want to cover this one because obviously this could be a big one. It could be a really cool series, and maybe one I want to get on the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, just wanted to make sure we catch this from the start for the most part. So kind of glad we got into this on the main PC as well, so there's no audio issues or anything like that. As we have in the top right, our red Terran player Kua taking on the blue Protoss in the bottom left-hand side stats. Game 1 of this best of 3. As a quick update on the bracket just elsewhere, Dream advances over Tasia, it will play Percival. Ragnarok has advanced over Bunny, will play Zest or Firefly in the round of 8. And Trap did advance over True, will play Yeshi or Astray in the round of 8. And that is on the same side of the bracket as this Stats Kua matchup. So that's where we're at in terms of matches here today. This is the round of 8. After this, we're likely to start semifinals or thereabouts. So obviously we do both the semifinals live here on the stream as well, etc, etc. Perfect. So let's enjoy this TVP. Let's enjoy this TVP. As we do have the probe making its way out over to the right-hand side, scouting around. Now, the great thing about this is we did get a little look at stats PvT earlier, and for the most part, Blink opening with 2 gateways, playing a very standard style, 3 gases or 6 gases, depending on what his opponent is doing. A lot of scouting, a lot of working around your opponent is what we saw from stats. So maybe expecting a little bit more of that. And as you see, this probe will go wandering around, a couple of SCVs starting to nibble, and there is a command center dropping down on the natural expansion, so that will drop on in here. As we do have the probe coming back home. I mean, just happy to know that obviously there is an expansion-based play coming into action, so yeah, gets the information. Same for Q. He gets to see there's an expansion. He's like, cool, you're not going for any kind of funky second gateway proxy or anything along those lines, so I know what's going on. I know you've expanded here. I'll just back away with the SCV, keep that alive. And my Reaper can try and do the rest of the scouting as it comes down to the bottom left-hand side. So Reaper coming across and even hops up into the main there for a moment, but the Adept is covering and is in range to kill the Reaper. Wow. So that's going to be the Reaper taken down there. As we do have the Adept continue to shade into the middle of the map. Twilight Council setting up in the main base, so that's going to be coming through as well. And again, a couple extra probes coming down. The factory about to finish up. Command center on the natural expansion. As again, the Adept of Stats will continue its way across. Try and put on a little bit of pressure here. Just going to be looking to get an SCV or so. Starport building in the main base, and just going to be having the, again, Twilight Council about to be finishing in the main. Marine and a Hellion continue to fight. A couple extra Marines popping out as well, and just going to be seeing this Adept chased away. Blink on the way up from Stats in the main base as well. Again, just a couple of, well, an extra gateway in the Robo facility. It's exactly the build we saw earlier today. So again, this is kind of this nice in-between. If you didn't see the earlier PvT, it's like a nice in-between of like being like hyper-aggressive on Blink Stalkers and just sort of being a little bit more laid back and sort of like, oh, well, you know, it's a good in-between of how many Stalkers you build up on. And you get the third base still nice and early before the 4-minute marker. As we do see this Hellion of Kua coming around. Really looking to try and see what is up as an extra sentry warps in. And a couple more SCVs and a couple more Marines coming through. This medevac loads up and 7 Marines will go across the map. So Kua bringing those down across, down to the bottom side. Those few Hellions just gathering together for the moment, and we will just have the 2 more racks in the main base as well. So 3 racks in total. There's a factory and a tech starport, both start up their tech labs. And we're just going to be seeing these Marines of Kua coming across down the bottom side of the map here and ready to move in toward the main base. So going to be dropping here in the next few moments. Stalker coming in and is looking for the medevac. There's a couple probes already taken down. A lot of these Marines pulling back a little bit, and there's a lift up as Stalkers will come in. Medevac will be chased away over to the side, and Kua's Hellions will not be able to get to the front either. Good blockade so far. Really good defense from Stats. Not allowing Kua to do much at all. From here, Stats says, well, I've defended well initially. Going to get my double forge down. He liked doing this earlier as well. Because it's the three racks here from Kua, this is the sort of scenario Stats gets full scan with the hallucination. This is why I'd imagine Stats is going to stay on 3 gases, build up to a lot of gateways and charge, and just sort of look to defend the 3 racks and then go from there in the next stage of this. Now against Double Forge, is there an SCV pull timing you can make? Perhaps, but I think as long as you go into a high gateway count, it's going to be difficult to really break the Protoss player with any sort of, again, like hyper-aggressive play. As the extra gates already starting, so 2 of them added on for the moment. And again, this is just the case of you don't have to, like, you know, you can just, you don't have to stay on the 3 gases forever, but the more you delay those 3 gases, the more units you will have initially. So there's kind of like this line you cross where it's like, okay, well now I'm safe enough with my gateway count, and now I can tech up anyways myself in towards that storm, etc. But it isn't a super fast storm, as we do have the medevac continue to boost its way through the top of the map here, so it's going to go all the way up to the top left-hand corner and then take a turn down the left-hand side as well. Bit of bio pressing out the center here from Cure, as we do see a couple of extra depots building up. And the Stimpack combat shields plus 1 attack, all of these upgrades from Cure still coming into play. A few Hellions looking as though they may want to go in towards the natural expansion, or the 3rd base, sorry. They actually get a sentry to start, which is not bad. Considering these Hellions got shut down early, nice for them to still get some damage done. There's now a drop into the natural as well, so these few Marines will also come in for some kills. And here comes the rest of Cure's army through the center of the map, so really looking for some damage all over the place. And there's 7 probes killed at the moment. He's going to stop the Forges upgrade, and he's going to kill the Autosis pylon. Oh no! Unpowered Forges, as we do see the Marines coming down to the bottom side. I mean, they can sit here and continue to fight because the main army's going up to the 3rd base. Is there a fight here you can really take as Cure? Well, he's going to get the sentries and then maybe just lift and leave. Or just run away, I guess. Not super safe to lift and leave when you've got to consider the fact that there is obviously a high Stalker count. Not bad though for Cure, right? He's killed 7 probes. He's killed off 3 sentries now in the game. That's a lot of like high-tech units, expensive units to rebuild. And Cure now building a 3rd CC behind all of their stats. Still only on 3 gases, so still just looking to really max units from this current position. I like this little slot here from Cure, but Stats is right to just send the Stalkers forward to fight it. Sets off the first Widow Mine, second Widow Mine will hit quite nicely, and we'll actually see a few more Zealots going down. As the Bio continues to pull back, the Stalkers blinking again. The Medevac taking a shot of damage, but will not go down. The rest of this Bio will come and join up together. As we have got the Stalker trying to fight, the couple of Marauders able to play cleanup. And again, +1 armor upgrade on the Engineering Bay and the Natural. Continuing through, so Secure will be catching up on upgrades, but he will be behind on the 2-2. Still waiting on his armory, 2nd Engineering Bay as well. Waiting on all of that, as we have got 2 Zealots of Stats up to the top side. They will start to run by in towards this 3rd base. And again, this Zealot will go down as well. Temple Archive still building up in the main. And our Warp Prism from Stats will come all the way across this top side of the map. And this is where it gets tricky for the Terran player. If you get a lot of Zealots in your main, you've got to send reinforcements to that. You start losing SCVs. You get pressed to be a bit more all-in across the map. And that's where issues start to arise. These missile turrets are a little bit too late. And Cure will just pull back home. And this gives Stats a great little bit of time exactly when he needs it. Because you know what's about to finish? Templar Archives. I've been talking about these extra gases in Templar Archives all game. And there it is. And Stats knows, okay, you've pulled back home. You're defending against this. I've got time to get Storm. Unlike, again, an earlier series where he said, actually, I don't have time for Storm. I'm just going to get Archons to help me survive here and now. Now he says, actually, I can get to Storm comfortably. I can get those Storms off and put myself in a really good position from this. So that is what Cure is, or sorry, what Stats is going to be aiming for right now. It's going to be having the fourth Nexus on the bottom side here from Stats as well. So that will start to build up. This army from Cure continues down to the bottom as we see a couple of Zealots going and walking in. Marauders will clean those up pretty easily. And again, the rest of this army coming across. Stats is going to kind of catch Cure out of position in the front. This is a nice place to catch him, I guess, if you can catch him with the Widow Mines all over the place, not quite where they want to be. Zealots doing well up on the top side, and now as Stats, you don't even have to really keep chasing the fight. You can just back away, and Storm is again about to finish. 2-2's about to be done. And so Stats should be able to take a further, another good fight basically a moment or two from now. A little bit of bio will stem ahead for the moment. More of this army from Stats up through into the center. This Nexus about to go down, so that will get picked off And again, Robo Bay coming through here from Stats. Second Robo facility. Ghost Academy going to be done very shortly too, as we do have a couple of Liberators sieging up. The Bio Army still pressing forwards and picking away at a Zelda too as well. And again, those 2 extra Liberators from Q are just going to be finishing up to try and reinforce this a little bit, as he's kind of got an interesting position where he can run to the left, but the Storms are dropping in from the High Templars, and that is what Q is not really prepared for at all. And that's going to be what allows Stats to really start cleaning this up now. The 10 extra Zealots or so joining into this as well, as we're going to be seeing a Widowmine blowing up a Stalker, but Stats don't care. He's going to keep going across the map. He's going to keep chasing down those Bio units, and Q is going to have to keep on running, getting the hell away, as a few extra Stalkers keep chasing up, and hand Shockwaves coming through. And we do just have the Liberator setting up a siege point on this high ground. Damn. Well, Stats holds on, and now in a fantastic position, as Q was kind of playing a dangerous game. The position he put himself in across the map, trying to move around a little bit. As we're going to see this army starting to run in here from Stats. A couple of Widowmines going off. Storm's already dropping into the Bio, which is actually in a nice choke point here. A nice Sim City to defend against Zealots, but I'm not sure it really matters as he pushes on through this anyways. The Storm initially was good. He's got a few units left to find a fight. The mineral lines over here. Stalker's blinking in to get rid of the Liberator. And Q will type GG to give Stats a game 1 of this best of 3. Stats 1, Q 0. Figured it out. You've got all the answers. Thank you so much, Ojo Tisa. Thank you so much for the £30. I appreciate it. Good old British pounds, guys. It's just what you need. You know, we can... I don't know what we can do actually at all. I've got actually no idea. It means teacher in Swahili, and you're from London. Very. That's actually really cool. God, I'm getting honestly, like, how many more facts can we learn? I feel like this is the Ojo Tisa show. Hey, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate it. As we jump into game number 2, up a game in the bottom right is Stats, our Blue Protoss player, and he's taking on the Red Terran Cure in the top left-hand side. As we will be seeing proxied barracks from Cure to start game number 2. Getting this up and ready to go. And hey, thank you so much, Logic Soldier, for the gifted sub to Ojo Tisa as well. Thank you so much for the generosity across the board, everybody. As we do have 2 racks dropping down then to start this off. We will have our probe of Stats making its way to see what's up. And he'll be like, wait a second. I've seen a number of Terran bases in my time, and not many of them have no barracks in them. So Stats will know, of course, that this is some form of a proxy. And if he knows his gas timing well, he will probably be able to say, oh, this is 2 racks before the gas, which is obviously pretty good information for him to have too, because it tells him a little bit more in terms of what kind of proxy this is. It is a marine-based proxy rather than a factory-based proxy. As a bunker will drop down here from Cure, so that's going to be setting up. That's going to be seen as Zod from Stats coming down. SCV takes a shot of damage, and Cybernetics Core is in the main base. So Zod coming down. I mean, obviously he goes Zod first. It's meant to be obviously Zod first. Going to start by bunker coming up too far forwards, and if it's a Reaper, it can chase the Reaper a little bit as well. It's actually been really nice so far from Curie. He's going to be able to get this shield battery cancel, which means he can actually chase and he's going to get the Zealot kill. Now he's actually going to keep pressing for the Stalker. I mean, the Stalker becomes a bit of a different story. The Marine's going to come through and really chasing the Stalker down. Now, probes will pull. I mean, the more damage you put onto this, the tougher it's going to be for Stats to clean this up to then get to his natural expansion because of this bunker here. I mean, you'd be surprised what one SCV repairing can do with a bit of micro. Keep this bunker alive a while and to really, again, just slow this expansion down. As behind this Cure, dropping down a factory in the main base. So he does have a tech choice already being made. So factory up, about to finish up in the main. Reactor will start. And again, these couple extra Marines actually building, but just walking home, so not going overboard. But look at the response you force from Stats. A shield battery here. He builds a pylon off over to the side. It's actually kind of... The rough part for Stats is actually losing the shield battery, because now he would be able to kind of come down, take some damage, heal up, get straight back to dealing damage. Now he comes down, takes damage, SCV repairs because he's not healed up again yet. And yeah, now we see Kyo dropping down in expansion, so this is great for him. The Robo from stats, I'm kind of surprised we see an Immortal and no Warp Prism, because I sort of feel like this is the scenario where you go across the map and you're like, well, your Marines on the, your Marines on one side. It's, it's just, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot defensively, but he's going to use this Immortal to try and bust this down as a bit of back and forth micro and make the most of it. Shield Battery to help. With the Immortal here, the SCV can't really do much in terms of repairing, so those Marines will just try and get away. Stalkers will chase, though. Stalkers are pretty fast, so in the end, Kyo just turns around and try and get something of it, but those Marines are basically forfeit. As the Twilight Council came in behind it, so we'll see what the choice is from stats there, and it's straight to Blink, so it's kind of similar to his typical build, just obviously the Twilight and the Robo before the Nexus, and then maybe an extra gate or two. I mean, from there on out, it's going to be very weird. We'll see what's going to happen. As you do have the Rax going to get all the way back home now as well. So he actually started floating these home a while ago, so he's going to be home in plenty of time. Tech Lab is finished already on the factory, has been for a few moments, so you can see the siege tank popping out. I mean, the setup defensively from Kyo looks really, really good so far. Now there's going to be seeing the tank coming down to the low ground. The Observer will move towards the main base. Also trying to see what else is happening, as it just has a full scout, sees 3 racks, realizes there's no kind of crazy super fast 3cc here. Well, Sats obviously at this stage, I think, is obviously right now long distance mining, but he will want to continue producing probes, because as soon as this natural finishes, he wants as much saturation on this natural as possible. He does not want to be in a scenario where he's like just now starting to build the probes for it, because then his economic, the economic damage that's been, set aside from the bunker rush is going to be really kind of, just catapult into later stages of this game as well. Starts a 3rd Nexus right now too, so that starts going up to 3 bases. Blink coming up, obviously no forges just yet. Stimpack ready to start here from Kyo as he gets himself onto a Tech Lab. Actually has a Raven building as well. I mean, you do have to get Stimpack here first though, right? So Stimpack, and then maybe this Rax goes to this Tech Lab for combat shields. It might be actually lines up quite nicely. Blink done in a moment, so you can see that Stats is ready to blink in the main. Wants to try and deal some damage here. Siege tank, Marine coverage, and that will be pretty much nothing done with the Viking landing as well. The Viking, we know, can do pretty crazy stuff to Stalkers. I mean, Kyo does have to fight this a little bit because, well, let's face it, the Stalkers can just sit there and you don't want to actually lose a barracks, right? So he's not going to rush into it, though. I guess actually, okay, in the end, he's going to pull the barracks back towards the Tech Lab, which means it's even close to the tank. So actually, Kyo doesn't have to fight this at all. Wow. That's actually really nice. I mean, it's really great because now the Stalkers don't get any free damage at all, right? Which is kind of what they're aiming for. Any sort of like free pickups where they're just going to be able to kind of get a couple of kills and weaken up Kyo's army a little bit. Make life easier for Stats in the future of this game. The future Stats is not going to have an easy time at all because Kyo's played very well. Great defensively, great defensive position from Kyo. Sends a Marine force just to check those Stalkers are still there. Has some better numbers now, some might, especially with the Marauders, might actually come through to try and fight this and pull the Marauders back as they get targeted initially and loses a couple units, does push this away. A new hallucination is nearby, so the blink back is possible if Kyo backs away too far and gives up this position. But now the tank's going to come in a much more aggressive spot as well, and there's not really the Stalker count here to actually blink up into the main base and target down a siege tank very quickly and make it effective. So Kyo is completely fine, and his own upgrades coming through. In the end, Stats did just go 1-1 upgrades. He goes into charge, and again, we'll just stick on 3 gases for the moment. The Viking actually made his way across the map, got 1 probe, and we'll make that 2 just before the Stalkers get the kill. It's a good shutdown from Stats, having 2 Stalkers there very quickly to go and deal with that. As the rest of this bio army from Kyo pushing down into the center. A few Marauders will stim and actually picks up a Stalker kill already. As we're going to be seeing the army continuing across. Stats sees it, so he knows that Kyo is coming across. A couple of Zealots will be warping in, concussive shells starting also. And as you see the 3rd CC setting up on the left-hand side. And this army of Kyo down the bottom, moving around, looking to see what's up. So yeah, 2 tanks sieging, Widowmine setting up, a few Marines stimming. I feel like that was maybe meant to be the Marauders or so. Matrix is on the Immortals as Kyo really wants to try and break through this. I mean, he's got an upgrade advantage for the moment. Okay, actually, +1 just finished. But +1 armor didn't, and +1 armor is typically the more important upgrade. Tanks are given really great coverage, and the issue for stats is that he just has not been able to get on top of those siege tanks. With this immortal count, you wouldn't really imagine the tanks survive that long, but they've survived a very long time. Now +1 armor is done, so the zealots are that little bit tankier. Is there enough bio here to do much else? I mean, you're going to keep on trading at the very least, and there's no zealots. They've already warped in reinforcements, so yeah, this is pretty brutal. I mean, it's just a little bit of bio left over, but it's enough to keep on fighting, and Q put himself in a great spot here in this game too. He will reel away and get ready for another round, maybe wait for +1 armor and just all the units to gather up, but this is a great start because you've reset the sentry count, so that's gas that has to be spent. You've reset the immortal count, so that's tech units that have to be chrono boosted, and just stop stats from doing a lot of what he would like to do to sort of get comfortably back into this game. As we now have a little bit of a push up, bio pressing forward, Stalkers blinking back, Medivacs will load up and pull back to this other side once more. Still trying to fight here as we see the rest of this bio still coming through, and looks as though he will get up to this high ground. Stemming forwards again, couple sentries immediately going down. I mean, them sentries were literally built to sort of hold this, you know, ramp for a little while longer. Any amount of time you could buy there was going to be a positive, as Widowmine's not really doing the best job right now. They're actually blowing up on zealots that are already dead, but we are going to be seeing the rest of this army from stats able to push this back. At the same time, Prism across the map didn't get any kills. Full pull away from Cure. So actually, stats didn't do much at all in this main base. Looks like he was actually just forced to lift very early on, and actually will go for the recall here. So Prism is brought back home, which means that Cure can continue to reinforce across the map. Doesn't have to worry about defending as much now. Although stats seems to feel as though he's got himself a little bit of extra time now, because he's put himself in a, you know, Temple Archives is on the way up. 2-2 has started. He's taking his extra gases. So Stats seems to think he's okay to tech up a little bit here. Let's see if that's true. I love the introduction of these couple of libs. And kind of lower unit count scenarios like this where you've been trading a lot, libs can be that real power play because they are just so good at playing, you know, doing a lot of cleanup and really holding positions down. And that's exactly what Q needs to kind of just have, you know, a bit of higher damage output. I mean, look at this. He's actually just picked off so many units without losing anything. Now Stalkers will blink in. That's when you know you're in some trouble there as the Protoss player. You're blinking in to try and clean out those libs. And even that's not going so well. You lose a lot of the Zealots at the start of this. There's the Prism back into the main base. So some Zealots trying to harass again. Q will send reinforcements to deal with it while he's still fighting over here and kiting backwards. Doing a very good job of it. Catches a sentry as these units try and back away. Stalkers and Immortals trying to move forwards once again. Rest of this bio army coming through. He will clean up the War Prism, so he's actually going to get rid of these Zealots. On the other side of the map, it kind of feels as though Q is starting to win out a little bit as well. The Liberator going down means he will have to back away, and he will do that. So pulls back just a little bit, but reinforcements are coming across. Remember, he's not reinforced for a long time because of the War Prism. Once he reinforces here, it's going to be such a large influx of units. He might just have this. However, he's very all-in. No 2-2. This is just 1-1 still. He has been very committed to winning the game off this push, and that's what's allowed him to keep up the pressure so heavily. Obviously, I don't disagree with the idea that he had, because initially in this game, it was going very well for him, these trades. I think they still are. The reinforcement numbers are kind of crazy. At the same time, Archons have just arrived, and they are going to be a new threat to this Terran army. He starts to kite away again, trying to get away from some of the splash damage that they will deal. But now he turns back around, feeling as though he maybe has the numbers. All the Immortals are dead once more. Widow manages to help out against a couple of these Zealots too. And then when the final Zealots fall, I think that might just be it. Now Stats really doesn't have enough as Cure continues to push on in. PX to Stalkers warping into the side, and Immortal will go down as it spawns. And even the 2-2 upgrades right now will not save Stats. Said that Immortal went down. It actually was saved for a few more moments here. And that's actually big, because it's actually picked off a couple of extra Marauders at this stage. The bonus damage against Armored coming through there. As these Marauders turn back around, chasing these Stalkers, which blinked forward, so now they can't blink away. A lot of kills. Cannon and a shield battery trying to hold on. Stats doing anything in his power. Army supplies are kind of still very Q favored, of course, and can Stats somehow pull that back? I mean, look at how low health so many of these Stalkers are. They blink away. A couple extra Zealots, a new Immortal hits the barrier off the Immortal, so you can come back into that fight very quickly and very easily. Widowmine blows up a Zealot at the front. This is not done yet, as we see a few more High Templar warping. They're going to go straight into Archons. The rest of our Terran army around this top side now. And we actually have stats getting a moment or two to breathe, and suddenly that's a bunch of Archons. It's a couple of extra mortals, and Kua says, wow, okay, I'm not winning this. Drops down extra racks, starts +2. Stats even found the ability to start Storm during this, which is really kind of crazy when you consider the pressure he's been under. But those are big Widowmine hits on the Archons for the bonus shield damage. Archons drop quickly. And those Widowmines, they've mostly been hitting a Zealot here, Zealot there, helping to clean out those numbers. They're hitting tech units. That's really, really bad for stats, I think, because Widowmine's trying to get forwards here. New War Prism is out, looking to maybe try and pick up those High Templar and keep those safe. I mean, a few Storms in this army could be very dangerous, but look at what Q has done now. He's put himself in a position where he can threaten the natural expansion, and stats might have to fight through Liberator and Widowmine fire to come defend the natural. Now, the Widowmine is actually a little bit off to the side, and there's the Storm ready now. Starts to storm, and suddenly the Bio army takes some big losses. Stats to hold on this long has done an amazing job. Great Prism Micro helping against the Widowmines. Now sieges up the Prism on top of the rest of this army to warp in. And it looks as though stats... Has he held? I don't even know. I actually don't even know right now. A few Stalkers blinking in as well. And Kyo will just have to back away. Stats still coming through this bottom side. And Kua, well, gonna turn around once again, coming forwards. The Archon gets pushed away. Enhanced shockwaves on the way up on the Ghost Academy. Couple Stalkers taking some damage. I mean, Kua got a 4th base up behind all of this. I guess let's kind of slow it down and look back at home. Enhanced shockwaves is building. He slowed it down, so he's getting Ghost on the way up. He's getting +2 attack, no armor. And does he even have a second engineering bay? He does. He just didn't start armor. He has 4 bases now, so, you know, Q is set up nicely, right? I think he's still fine. But has realized that he just needs to take a moment or two to slow this game down and sort of allow it to sort of stabilize a little bit, because just continuing to rally units stopped working and has now really become an issue. Sends down a missile turret, setting up a scan to take down an observer. And Kyo will come out the front here. So, pressing forwards, Kyo will be coming across, looking to see what is happening. Pushing all the way down to the bottom right-hand side. A probe at the front here goes down pretty quickly, as you do have stats spreading his army out. Big storm drops down to start. A couple of extra storms drop down as well. I mean, the EMP is definitely helped at the start of this. The Widowmine's starting to go off and actually hitting some pretty important units as well, to the point where stats just types out GG. A slight counterattack from the bottom left doesn't do much, and I feel like a bit of an anticlimax again for how epic the continued push was from Kua. Anyways, he makes it happen, and he ties it up 1-1 in the best of 3. So, starting this off, in the top left-hand side, our red Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Kua. Taking on our Protoss player. In the bottom right-hand side, in blue, it is Stats. Hey, thank you so much, 47ers, for the 100 Bitterinos. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. God, I am dying for a drink. I'm not having a break between the last series and this series. It's kind of killing me right now. I'm not gonna lie. These guys just keep hosting games so quickly, though. God damn it. How dare they? How freaking dare they? Probe of Stats continues up to the top left-hand side. As I see the SCV able to turn the probe around. Cybernetics Core going to be starting up from Stats in the main base, and we do just see probe comes down towards the natural expansion, drops in a Nexus, and we do have the Reaper, just coming up right now, about halfway done. And again, just going to be seeing our probe getting pushed away. CC coming down in the natural expansion here for the moment. A little bit of building up. A little bit of getting ready. Nothing too crazy. Sorry, I'm really trying to just catch my breath a little bit after that second game non-stop pushing from the Terran for 4 or 5 minutes. And again, in the end, all it took was him. Because he built up consistently behind it, yeah, it was delayed 4th base, it was delayed +2, but because he had it coming in, when he backed away for a moment or two, he could build into all of that and like really kind of solidify everything he'd been building up behind it, and then just go with that one push to end the game, which was really nice to see. So, nicely done by Cure. Now at game 3. Now remember that last game also started with the proxy 2 racks to give Cure the initial kind of very kind of strong advantage, quite frankly. So Cure kind of committed a lot to that initially, as we do see this Reaper coming back across towards the natural. A couple of Marines will join up here as well, and the Adept from Stats will come shading by up towards the main base as a reactor building up on this barracks here. Nice little grenade. No Adept damage being done while that grenade is flying it around. Does this Adept get out alive? I'm going to say it does. It's stuck in the corner for a moment there, but its shade is good. So Stats gets out. As his setup here, Twilight Council, second gate, there's the blink. Stats is just showing pretty much one build and a couple different follow-ups today. Remember, he does play Maru in the Super Tournament in a couple of days, so doesn't want to show too much in these matches, but it's a very standard, safe opener. It's very typical. Like, there's not much you really learn here as Maru by watching these games and being like, oh, he's opening blink and 2 gates. It's like, well, I've seen all of that before. As you do see the Hellion and the Reaper back down to the bottom here from Cure. Blink on the way up on the Twilight Council. And just going to be seeing the Reaper and Hellion actually got a probe kill as the pylon drops down as well. I mean, for Cure, just seeing the 3rd base this quickly, I think doesn't even need to see the Twilight so much to just sort of realize what Stats is playing here once again. As we do have the Raven from Cure, we'll finish up in a few moments' time. Again, this Rax can lift off, relocate. Factory here lifts off the tech lab, goes over to the right-hand side. And again, just watching this blink come through for the moment as well. So getting blink up, getting that ready. A couple of extra Marines going to be finishing up as well. And the engineering bay on this natural expansion about to finish for our +1 upgrade. So it is again going to be moving away from that 3cc style. So while this was like very strong for a week or two, we really are now starting to kind of go back to the point where 3 racks is also an opening, which it gets, again, it's this cool, like, I always go on this little rant and tangent, but like the meta of StarCraft and how it develops, and it's really cool how now like you've had this kind of like from 3cc versus 3 racks scenario to the responses Protosses are playing, mean 3cc is like the go-to every game for a week or two, into the Terrans adapting to that and starting to bring back 2 and 3 racks build orders again. It's just kind of fun. Like, if you look at last week's Kung Fu Cup when he casted some TVPs, there was not a game where Terran didn't go 3cc. I think maybe Bunny one game went like 3 racks, but that's Bunny, and if Bunny can't doom drop everything across the map at the 6-minute marker, he ain't happy. So as this army of Stats continues up to the top side, we do see the Reaper pulling all the ways away. Auto turret from Cure will drop down in the back of the 3rd base. And probe gets picked off. Stalkers trying to come back through there as the auto turret from Cure comes down again. And the probes will pull away from the main as we see some extra gateways dropping down. So, a few extra gates coming into play there. They're all going to set up in the main base. And we do see the Reaper of Cure continuing down this right-hand side. So, coming across to take position or so. Reaper comes all the way down to the south then as Stimpack and Combat Shields coming up, +1 attack about to be done. And just going to be having the 4 extra gates from Stats dropping into this main base as well, as we do have the Stalkers trying to slow down this push. Remember, this is powerful because it's 3 racks very early in the game. It's a lot of bio here, so this is what the sort of thing that Stats wants to have the extra gates to help him shut down, and that's what Charge will be very good at as well. He won't have 1-1 for this push, and the Double Forge is one thing that kind of weakens your defense to this. You know, it's investment into upgrades that are not going to be ready for the first round of this attack. So we'll see if that's a weakness that Cure can exploit by coming across. Starts to stem up this ramp. The couple of force fields starting to drop down. Bit of back and forth there. Widowmine gets taken down before it fires. Not many force fields remaining, but obviously every second you buy right now, you're getting close to 1-1. Another Zealot warping off of all of these gateways you've just built up. And those are things which are obviously going to be very, very good for you in terms of just completely putting a halt to this and just saying, nope, no, we're done. You don't get to attack further into me. There's a couple extra force fields as a few units in the front get lifted up away from those Zealots, and Widowmine's kind of doing their job. There's a defense from stats that you're kind of expecting it to be. 4th and 5th racks behind it, all from Cure. So he gets ready for the rest of this game as well. He's not just going to be stuck on this composition. As Cure comes back around to the bottom side, a few extra Widowmines setting up again, and we'll have stats trying to press a bit further forwards. A few Stalkers starting to fire. Marine already taken down. It's really, really tough for Cure to break in, and stats will just continue sitting. And you can see he's starting to feel comfortable because, again, he's already taken those extra gases. So he's already saying, hey, I don't need as many Zealot warpins right now. I can start to think about teching up a little bit. I'm defending this here. He's not going to break me. As he's even going to pop the Guardian Shield, which I feel like he doesn't really have the Zealot count to do that, because I just don't know what you run into this for. Maybe just a misclick. Maybe it was meant to be another force field. He just hit Guardian Shield initially and then, you know, actually found the right button for the force fields. It can happen. It's not the craziest of misclicks that we'd have ever seen in StarCraft 2 from pro players, so it's not impossible, as you do have. Stalkers pressing through. A couple of Widowmines already going down. I mean, I like what Q is doing. Continue to change directions, etc. Keep stats going from left to right, left to right. Now stats has Zealots in the main base, though, so the War Prism is starting to do its job. Zealots at the front as well. Those Zealots actually not doing much right now, as stats then needs to make sure he actually cleans this army up, else he will be in some trouble. Obviously, if the army can continue through to pick off the third base, then that would be brilliant, as stats will go blinking forwards, cleaning out a Marauder or two. War Prism here from stats will drop down in the third. We're going to see the Zealots being cleaned up in the natural. I mean, they didn't do a lot. They hit this couple of barracks at the front for a long time, which was just stats being too busy elsewhere to really control them correctly into a mineral line and to allow them to get so many workers of damage done. Yeah, Kira backs away and his main base ransacked. 29 SCVs remaining, so he's really lost a lot here. He's really hurting. 32 SCVs down in this game. And now you're kind of all in as Q. If you want to go back across the maps, you're all in. He's building the Liberator 2, no 2-2 upgrades. It's kind of the last game, only last game wasn't quite as all in because he still had workers behind it. Here you need to kind of push and win with the push right away. There's no time for delay. There's no time to slow down. Now Storm is on the way, but it's not done yet. So Storm not ready just yet, as we do see this army continuing down the bottom right. If there's ever a timing in this game for Cure to somehow win this, it's kind of around about now, before Storm is done. Once Storm is done, this game is done for. As you see those Liberators sieging up, he needs to push forwards aggressively. He cannot wait around. He can't give stats time. He can't give stats warpins. Couple force fields dropping here. Marauder and a Marine going down. And I see another Liberator unsieging, pressing further forwards. As it looks as though stats... Can he hold on to this? He's got 2-2 upgrades. And those Storms are ready to go now. This Raven comes in as well. The Zealots are still back over on the Terran base too, as I don't even know if you need Storms for this necessarily. It will help out as the bio gets pushed back. These couple last Liberators will start to fall. And that is going to be a few extra Stalkers blinking forwards. The Medevac still being shot down. I mean, the Zealots are still just ransacking the main base and so on and keeping Q's reinforcements at home. And as this attack doesn't work out for Q, stats will make a hold. And stats should be booking himself a ticket to the semi-finals of this event now, where he'll be playing most likely against Trap. Bio army from Q continues down the bottom side of the map here. Again, the robotics facility from stats setting up in that natural expansion as well. 2 more Widow Mines coming in from QS, so building those up. As again, this entire army pushes down to the bottom side of the map. Army of stats looking to come on in, going to start firing away. A couple of Zealots going to start charging through this, and the Widow Mines take some pretty decent initial connections on the Zealots. As you see, the Stalkers continue to fire away. Another nice storm. Going to hit some of the medevacs there as well. A lot of damage being done. Another storm coming through. And this army of stats continue to push up the left-hand side. Looking to clean up everything else. Because Kyo just doesn't really have anything. We've kind of been talking about it. He's on 1-1 upgrades against 2-2. Storms are continuing to be good, and Stats is on a journey today. He's got a mission. He wants to show up a little bit. His PvT is looking really good. It looks really solid. Looked good against Innovation. Looked pretty good against Kyo here. A little bit failing here and there against some aggression. But that is going to be that. GG's, and Stats is going to take game 3. Wins this series 2-1.